And so here we are, we've made it down to number 1 for the greatest drivers of all time. And as you can see from the title, in my opinion, the best Formula 1 driver of all time is 6-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. One reason Hamilton is number 1 on this list is, if you think about what he's already achieved in F1, it's scary to think that his story still isn't finished and he's still got so much success ahead of him. He already holds many records like the most podiums, the most pole positions, etc. But he's still going to break so many more. He's on the verge of matching Michael Schumacher with 7 world titles, whilst he's only 2 away from Schumacher's race win tally of 91. Yes, he's 35, but he's still at the top of his game, and he's in a Mercedes car, which doesn't look like it'll be slowing down anytime soon. But as we know, it's not all about the stats, and Hamilton isn't number 1 on this list just for his numbers, because to get so many different records, he has to be excellent inside the cockpit to do so, and that he is, especially in the wet conditions. As you can see from my top 3 on this list, the wet conditions are what separate the good drivers from the great. How good a driver is in the wet shows how truly great they are. And the 2008 British Grand Prix shows how good Hamilton is in wet conditions, as he won by over a minute that day, despite being only 23 years old. From the moment Hamilton stepped into Formula 1 in 2007, his raw speed and wheel-to-wheel battles were up there amongst the best. And it's to a point where you could argue that Hamilton's year in 2007 is the best F1 has ever seen from a rookie driver. He holds the record for the most consecutive podium finishes from his debut race, which was 9. He was also partnered with Fernando Alonso at McLaren, who had just won the past 2 titles with Renault, and it looked as though he would dominate F1 for years to come. Yet Hamilton matched him and beat him in the championship that year, to just be 1 point away from winning the title. And then since then, he's also had many other superstar world champion teammates, like Jenson Button, like Nico Rosberg for example, but each and every single time, Hamilton has been the one to come out on top. And some people argue that Hamilton only wins all the time because he's always been in the best car, but to me, that couldn't be more wrong. For example, in 2008, 2017 and 2018, Hamilton won those titles despite a lot of the time not having the best car. For example, in 2008, whilst Hamilton won the title, his teammate Heikki Kovalainen came 7th in the championship that year as Ferrari won the Constructors, which to me shows how superior Hamilton was above the rest of the pack that year. And then 2017 and 2018, a lot of the time, Ferrari's performance, especially on the straights, was exceptional. And the thing that impresses me the most about Hamilton is the way he's managed to be so dominant for so long in F1 and be at the top of his game for so many years, which shows the mental resilience in the man to keep going and to keep focused and to not get complacent. For example, if you look at past great drivers, Ayrton Senna for example, I know his career got ended in the most tragic of ways, but would he have continued past 1994 anyway if that didn't happen? I don't think so, to be honest. And so if you look at Hamilton, the way he's managed to keep focused and to keep going, to keep winning titles, shows that maybe there's not a driver in history that has as good mental resilience as Lewis Hamilton. And I don't expect him to get complacent anytime soon, which is why it's scary to think that as a 6-time world champion, he's still got so much success ahead of him, because Hamilton is still at the top of his game in a car that doesn't look like he'll be losing anytime soon. So that is why he is number 1 on this list as the greatest driver of all time. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, visit the website f1.co.uk, and I'll leave you with this question. Does Lewis Hamilton deserve a knighthood? Because to me, he deserves it 100%.